Every great truth begins as a whisper, and sometimes it takes a prince to amplify it. When Prince Harry took on the British press, he wasn't just fighting for himself. He was standing up for every voice trampled under tabloid lies, every private moment sold to the highest bidder, every mother haunted by flashbulbs that never slept. But just when Harry's campaign against media corruption began to crack the fortress walls, came a twist no one saw coming. A twist that smells like sabotage. Because now, the man whose evidence once supported Harry's legal war, the man who exposed tabloid criminality, is claiming his confessions were forged. Yes, forged. And that single word threatens to turn truth into smoke. Let's rewind. His name? Graham Johnson, a once celebrated investigative journalist turned whistleblower. Johnson was part of the murky machinery that defined Fleet Street's golden age of scandal. He confessed years ago, revealing how journalists at tabloids illegally intercepted calls, obtained private records, and hacked voicemails in the race to destroy reputations. He pleaded guilty. He apologized. And for Harry, that confession wasn't just vindication. It was proof. Proof that his mother's suffering wasn't paranoia. Proof that Meghan's harassment wasn't coincidence. Proof that his entire life had been a circus built on stolen privacy. But recently, a tremor shook that foundation. Graham Johnson now claims certain documents, the ones presented to reinforce his confession, may have been altered. He's crying forgery. And if true, this could hand the tabloids the very weapon they've been waiting for. A chance to call Harry's crusade a witch hunt. Let's remember what's at stake. Prince Harry's ongoing legal cases target the Daily Mail's publisher, Associated Newspapers Limited, and News Group newspapers, the empire behind The Sun and the defunct News of the World. He and other claimants allege their lives were systematically invaded through illegal methods, phone hacking, deceitful blagging, and even bugging. This is not royal drama, it's criminal enterprise. And as Harry's legal team prepared to expose this dark ecosystem, their case leaned on whistleblowers, men like Graham Johnson, who knew the rot from the inside. So imagine the panic across boardrooms and newsrooms when that testimony began tearing holes through decades of denials. But now, suddenly, we hear whispers that Johnson's admissions might have been tampered with. How convenient, how exquisitely timed, because if the confession can be painted as fake, then suddenly every victim's pain becomes doubtful. And the tabloids get their favourite headline: Harry's case in crisis. Here's what we know. Johnson claims that one of the key documents, allegedly containing his signature and acknowledgement, has been manipulated. He insists the version circulating publicly is not the same as what he originally approved. Some analysts say this could be a defensive manoeuvre, an attempt to protect himself from deeper legal exposure. Others suspect darker forces may be at play, a coordinated effort to contaminate the evidence, muddy the waters and slow Harry's legal steamroller just as it was gaining traction. Because, make no mistake, Harry's war isn't about headlines. It's about precedent. If he wins, tabloid culture as we know it could face extinction. And that's why every attempt will be made to derail it, through fear, fabrication, or forgery. The forgery allegation is a potential lifeline for the tabloids. After years on the defensive, they can now cast doubt on the entire legal challenge. Their strategy: if some evidence is tainted, all of it is suspect. This shifts focus from their wrongdoing to the alleged misconduct of their accusers. The tabloids can portray themselves as victims of a conspiracy, muddying the waters and creating reasonable doubt. Even a hint of forgery can sway opinion in court and the public. The lawsuit risks being seen as vindictive rather than just. For the public, the truth becomes harder to discern as both sides accuse each other of deceit. The tabloids exploit this controversy to reframe the debate and plant seeds of doubt. Kindness into calculation and called compassion PR strategy. The same media network that tried to convince the public that Harry, a combat veteran, was fragile, while protecting predators in their own royal ranks. So is it really so unthinkable that someone, somewhere, would manipulate evidence to blunt his pursuit of justice? Behind the polished news anchors and neatly worded legal clarifications lies a media machine desperate for survival. Harry has already exposed the first cracks. The question now is, will this alleged forgery be their smoke grenade? Because if the evidence collapses, the Empire gets to rewrite the story. Harry the hero becomes Harry the fool. The whistleblower becomes the unreliable witness. And the truth, once again, gets buried under the noise. Despite complications, the heart of Prince Harry's battle remains unchanged. It's about the right to privacy, corporate accountability, and exposing a culture of wrongdoing. The case seeks to hold media organizations accountable for lives shattered by illegal practices. Harry's lawsuit demands acknowledgement of harm and a commitment to change. It's a fight for a more ethical press and a deeply personal quest to reclaim his family's narrative. The legal war draws a line. Does press freedom justify breaking the law and violating privacy? Harry argues it does not. No one should face constant unlawful surveillance. This is a battle of principle, seeking to rebalance power between press and individual rights. But here's what they forget. Harry has lived through worse than media warfare. He's watched truth die once in a tunnel in Paris and vowed never again to let lies win. This is not about titles, not about tabloids. It's about accountability. It's about saying, the press doesn't get to break lives and call it journalism. And whether the forgeries are real or fabricated, the real conspiracy is clear. They want the world to stop believing him. But the world is waking up. From confession to conspiracy, from whispers to war, the truth is still standing. And this time, it's not backing down. Because when you come for the truth, make sure it isn't wearing a crown of courage.